Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, November 25th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you. It is a big Monday slate, which is uncharacteristic, but again, with U.S. Thanksgiving and no games on Thursday. This week, we've got a bigger Monday and a bigger Wednesday slate and a lighter Tuesday slate. So it's a little bit backwards this week, but that's the way it's got to be for the Thanksgiving holiday coming up. We only had the one game last night, so Leafs get the job done against Utah. And now what's their record without Austin Matthews during this span? Like 7-1, just on the verge of him coming back probably for the next game. But credit to the Leafs.
Now we fade them.
Now we fade them. That kind of feels that way, that next game. But win again without and Matthews, no Domi, no Matthew Nyes. They certainly had a lot of injuries, but they overcome it. Another solid effort from the team defensively, and they get a 3-2 win against Utah. That's all we're going to say about that. I didn't actually bet the game. It was a day off for me betting NHL, so it was nice. I didn't make a single bet in that game, and I was happy for it. Before we get into the Monday slate, though, we've got the New York Rangers talking about Kreider and Trouba and certain guys, rumbles of trades potentially involving them, and the Ottawa Senators, who have been very disappointing so far this year, again, to begin the season. Rumblings that they may be involved in some sort of trade in the very near future to try to shake things up. So apparently Alex got into a back and forth with some Sens fans about trade proposals that would actually be beneficial to both sides in a potential trade involving some of the Ottawa players, including beneficial to the Sens fans. But apparently the Sens fans didn't agree and took to Twitter X to go against some of Alex's thoughts. Now, keep in mind, this is the same fan base that attacked me months ago on there because I said Tim Stützle dove and embellished a lot and said I didn't know anything about hockey. Well, I guess the multiple players and coaches that have accused him of embellishing out there on the ice don't know shit about hockey either. So what the hell do I know? We've only seen visual evidence of Tim Stützle diving and embellishing. And I like the kid. He's a hell of a player. I've complimented him as a player. He's tremendous skill and ability. But my gosh, I mean, this is a very soft, triggered fan base, Ottawa. We're finding that out because I had my issues with them a while back with the whole Stützle stuff. And Alex, tell us about what's going on here with the Sens not liking what you're saying about what they should be getting in a potential trade involving their captain.
So I'm waking up this morning, I get my ginger ale, I get my morning smoke in, and I'm reading an article from Jimmy Murphy over at rg.org. Where he's talking about how the Senators are looking to make some change, shake up some things. He had a tweet from Mark Mathot, former Sens defenseman, saying that, this team looked disengaged and tired, and that, if they can't change the coaches anymore, can't change the GMs or owners anymore, it's going to have to be a core player. A core piece is going to have to be moved, and it might sting. Those are his exact words. So, obviously, the first thing, the player that comes to your mind would be Brady Tkachuk, right? He's the heart and soul, the captain of that team. You move him, that would certainly move everything around within the franchise. It would get the fan base and everybody on notice of, hey, we got to turn some things around. So I mentioned a trade. I say, if I'm Kyle Davidson, I go and make a deal. I offer Philip Kurashev, Connor Murphy, Wyatt Kaiser, and 5 draft picks, a first, a fourth, a seventh next year, and a second and third the year after, for Brady Tkachuk and Michael Amadio. Now, I get chirped instantly. People saying, "Oh, you must be trolling," and I expected some of that because Brady Tkachuk's a fan favorite. No one would want to see him go. But at the same time, if you're talking about shaking things up, and you're talking about an Ottawa team that hasn't made the playoffs in about 7-8 years, it's been a minute. Okay, this team hasn't done anything. This core group that you have now has done jack all shit. Okay, with all the coaches and all the owner changes and everything else. So you need to shake something up. And what I'm talking about was something that would put the team in line to contend next year. It frees you of cap space. You can still make other trades during this season. You tank now, and you have a first-round pick from the Chicago Blackhawks, a team that sucks, a team that would be a lottery pick. So you're talking about having not 1 but 2 picks in the top 10, and you have cap space to make moves immediately next year. So all the fans now that talk about, we want to contend now, you would be contending right away next year. You would be essentially doing what New Jersey did last year. Now, yes, of course, it'd be a huge bump. You get a Brady Tkachuk, a guy like that in Chicago, and he's tied in keep in mind now, $8.5 million, it would be all the way until 2028. Do the Hawks want to make that commitment? Is the question they'd have to ask themselves. But other than that, it's a slam dunk on both ends. And why Sens fans don't seem to get that when you already know that Tkachuk might be moved. You already know you need defensemen. You're going to have to make a ton of moves to get things fixed, and you have holes to plug. That's not that bad of a trade. So, Sens fans, yeah, like I said, some of your favorite players might be moving on to other teams. You want to be in the best position so that your franchise is in condition to continue to try to contend moving forward, rather than staying in this purgatory that you guys have been for the last decade of almost making the wild card spot, but then not right.
And now this is Steve Staios. Keep in mind, Steve Staios is still a relatively new GM here with the Senators. It's his opportunity to really put his stamp on this team, because a lot of this team that's out there now, he got it from the Pierre Dorion regime, the Pierre Dorion era. So this is an opportunity for him to really shape this team, not blow it up. They're not going to do that, but they are definitely, from the sounds of things, like something's going to happen. Some kind of trade is about to happen. It's just a question of the pieces involved. It's not a hatchet job, and they're going to blow up the whole thing, but they are definitely going to make some changes, potentially bigger ones, to try to get some life into this team. And I think, look, it continues to be issues for them too at the defensive end, which Travis Green was supposed to be coming in here to kind of fix. And Linus Ullmark, what's happened to his game all of a sudden? The last few starts haven't been pretty for him.
And take it from a team like the Hawks. Take it from some of these other teams. You can't just go out and buy defensemen. No. Okay? You have to grow defensemen. And that's the thing. Using those draft picks, that's the first thing you have to do with any of the draft picks. And that's the thing, their cupboard's quite bare. Okay? They have their missing picks within the next couple of years. You have to build defensemen from the ground up. Look at Wyatt Kaiser. That's why I mentioned him, because he's a guy who is a project now developing. The Hawks like him a lot. And I think he's a guy who could be an NHL-ready defenseman as early as next season. He would be a perfect fit in a lot of teams. Yes, he's a left-shot defenseman, but then that still gives you capital to move around and move the albatrosses you have on that right side. Because how many teams are going to go pick up Nick Jensen with that $4.5 million contract hanging over him for the next 2 years? How many people are interested in a Travis Hamonic at 34 years who's got about as many injuries as I do? You're not going to be able to move those guys easily. So. You got to take what you can get, and a big deal like that, that's something that would wake up that locker room, wake up that fan base for sure.
Yeah, and something probably will happen. And keep an eye on both of those teams. I mean, that's the big rumblings to start this week, is that both the Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers could be involved in some kind of trade to kind of shake things up a little bit. Obviously, the Rangers are not in dire straits, but clearly the way they've started the last two games, which has been terrible, by the way. The first period of these last couple of games just was ugly. You do get worried about, just what's going on with them as well, and that maybe they need just a little bit of a shake-up and change, because I find, they're losing puck battles, and they're not out-skating teams right now. I think they need to inject a little more speed up front. Chris Kreider, not the best skater, and you're talking about all kinds of certain players up front that are certainly having some issues inconsistency-wise, and, they're still trying to look for that fit with Zibanejad and Kreider, those two players in particular. With all due respect to Will Cooley, it's not always the best thing when he's been your best player in some of these games lately. It's a credit to him. It's not necessarily a good thing for the success, or maybe not the lack of success, that the New York Rangers might have moving forward. Yeah, and definitely when you look at Ottawa, you're right. I mean, they're just so reliant too on that on Jake Sanderson. For that hockey team on the blue line. It's just, and he's great. His game is terrific. Can't say enough. But Shabbat, his game has declined. He can't stay healthy. And then you've got Hamonic. Jacob Bernard Docker was supposed to be this big-time prospect, and all he's done is ping-pong and bounce around like a tennis ball between the American Hockey League and NHL. Clevin and Jensen are just, decent at best third pair. Jensen, in fact, I don't think he's had a great year. Yeah, you've had all kinds of issues on that back end. And unless that gets better, and then you've got Ullmark kind of fighting it lately, of course you're going to struggle. Of course you're going to lose games. Of course you're going to give up goals. And we're seeing that right now, certainly, from the Ottawa Senators. All right, we've got a time crunch. We've got a little less than an hour to get through this Monday card. So we are going to go rapid fire, 11 games, and we'll begin with Colorado and Tampa Bay. Even money, -110, both sides. 6.5 being the total in this game. Colorado Avalanche, talked about for a few shows now. They're getting healthier. It's probably as healthy as they've been all season long. Ross Colton is really the only major piece up front that they're waiting to return. Well, Landeskog too, but we're talking, this season, Landeskog's been out for years, it feels like. Colton's the one they're waiting on to get back. But other than that, they're healthy up front. They've got, obviously, Big Val Nichushkin back. Lehkonen came back. Duran came back recently. And what an impressive beatdown they put on the Florida Panthers over the weekend. 7-4 victory over Florida. Very impressive. Florida got the early lead. And every time Florida scored, Colorado responded. Then it was a big second period, 4-1 in the second period. Goals by 4 different players: Drouin, O'Connor, Girard, and Rantanen, all getting on the scoreboard as they really did some serious damage and made life one of the more difficult games that Sergei Bobrovsky certainly has had in quite some time. Very impressive win for this Colorado team. We'll see if they can carry that over here to Tampa, where the Lightning dropped a 4-2 decision to the Dallas Stars on Saturday. Very impressive win for Dallas. Tough loss there for the Lightning. It was a pretty even game, 29-28 in shots. I think the difference was, look, Dallas had a couple odd man rushes, just a gorgeous game-winning goal. I don't know how he put it in from the angle he was at, Duchesne, but that was the game winner for the 3-2 goal. And then they got the late a power play goal just after that from Hintz to really put it away, 4-2. So disappointing loss for Tampa, who otherwise have played pretty well at home. Tampa at home and off a home loss is usually the kind of betting situation I'm not looking to bet against, but I don't know if I'm looking to bet against Colorado. I like the way they're going. They're very capable, and this is obviously a matchup of two teams that faced off in the Stanley Cup final a few years ago. It should be a great game between these two teams. Onanen and Vasilevsky currently projected to be the starting goaltenders in this game, although I'll point out that neither one's been confirmed as of yet. We have seen 3 of the last 4 games between these teams go over the total. That's what I'm looking at here. Probably an over by Fecta. Probably like the full game over just a little bit more than the first period. But I do think we'll see some goals here. Even with Vasilevsky, he did give up 4 in the loss to Dallas. And now we're talking about a firepower-laden Colorado team that's coming into town here with all their weapons back, essentially. So I think the overs are live here. We could see some goals tonight between these two teams. Still have lack of confidence consistently in Onanen, who had that little run, and now he's kind of trended back down just a little bit in some of his recent starts, and it's looking like he might get the start here. 2.81 goals against, 866 save percentage for him coming into this one. Alex, what do you think here? Colorado, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, if you're looking for me to give you some money line sides, today's your day because there's a lot of sides I like, and one of them here is Colorado. I laid $1.04 at FanDuel. Like I said, they're in good form right now. This is I know Tampa Bay has won 5 of the last 6 meetings, but I just trust in Colorado being in better form right now on the road. And we talk about that too. When teams have struggled, better for them sometimes to get away from home, get on the road, have a more business-like approach. I think that's the way they handle things in Tampa Bay tonight. So give me the Avs on the money line.
Yeah, for me, Tampa, I think, came into the Dallas game after the 7-6, debacle that it was with Columbus. They kind of went into that game saying, you know what, let's tighten things up. But now they only scored 2 goals, and now I'm hearing some of the things. Well, we just got to do a better job finishing. Now the emphasis is on let's, get going offensively again. So I think it'll be a fun game. I think we'll see goals. Alex likes Colorado here in this one. By the way, Nick Paul looks like he is out once again. And I mentioned that because, look, he's been obviously good this year for the Tampa Bay Lightning and certainly might be missed again if he is out of the lineup. Washington and Florida. We've got the Panthers, -170, home favorites, 6 the total. A bit of adversity, wouldn't you know it, for the defending Stanley Cup champions who could not avoid their first 3-game losing streak of the season with that 7-4 loss to Colorado. And yes, that is indeed the first 3-game skid all year for the Florida Panthers. Now they're going to try to avoid their first 4-game losing streak here against the Washington Capitals, who, without Ovi, the offense has indeed dried up. 3 goals in the last 2 games combined for the Washington Capitals. 2-1 loss to Colorado, 3-2 loss to New Jersey. We'll see how this one plays out. We have seen all but one of the last, of the last 8 head-to-head meetings. All but one of them have seen at least 6 goals. So I like the over by Fecta. This one, I like the first period, though, a little bit better than I do the full game. I mean, if you're talking Washington in particular, they have been a first period over machine for, wow, a long time now. Now, again, a lot of these games, of course, were pre-Ovechkin injury. That is a little concerning, but the first period over did cash Saturday night in the New Jersey-Washington game in one of the games post-Ovechkin's absence for the Washington Capitals. So the first period over has been super strong with the Caps. Even without Ovi, the first period over cash Saturday night. I think you got two teams off losses, two teams off multiple losses in a row. So I think you're going to see definitely an onus on Washington trying to come out strong, get on the board early. Same thing, obviously, for the Florida Panthers at home, wanting to get off to a fast start as well. So first period over, really like that. A little smaller for me on the full game. Alex, what do you think here? Washington, Florida.
So over trifecta, but I'm playing the first period's pregame, and I'm looking for that full game over in game. I think it won't be a score early to the point where we can get at least plus money at 6 or even 5.5 laying the price. So at that's what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking to lay. I'd rather lay 130 with 5.5 here than go plus 110 with 6. Like you said, because Washington has been a little streaky without number 8 in the lineup. So definitely like the first period over. Lay 125 at FanDuel with that. At DraftKings as well. Also grab plus 172 with that. Both teams to score in the first period.
Yeah, this might be a good over trifecta. You're right. Both teams to score in that first period. I could see it did hit with the New Jersey-Washington game. It was 1-1 after that first period as well. And yes, it is Spencer Knight in net. I'm not surprised Paul Maurice is turning to Spencer Knight because, you usually would think Sergei Bobrovsky put him right back in there after a rough game. But I think give him a rest too because you're right. It's irregular to see him give up, 6-7 goals like he did. Well, actually, a couple of them were empty net. One of them was an empty net goal. But, give him a rest. Spencer Knight's capable. Spencer Knight's been okay. Logan Thompson will get the start here for the Washington Capitals. And like I said, Spencer Knight, you actually look at the way he's played here, some of his last few starts, the Chicago game, he only gave up 2 goals. He gave up 3 to New Jersey. He's been okay, but he will be tested here tonight by this Washington team. Like I said, off the losses, definitely. Interested in seeing how Spencer Knight responds, and actually interested how both teams respond. Both of them have lost multiple games in a row.
And in saying that, great stat for Terry Ray Vegas, who mentions 11-0 to the first period over when the Caps are off of a loss. So that is very strong.
That is, and obviously they were off the loss to, who was it? The first game without Ovechkin. Who the fuck was it they lost to? That first game without Colorado. Okay, yeah, Colorado. Colorado beat Washington last week in Washington. That was the first game without Ovi. And obviously that was a loss for the Capitals. What happened? New Jersey game, first period over. So it speaks to that angle. Yeah, 11-0. Off a loss for the first period over. Wow, that's a hell of a trend. Great find. Absolutely. Yep. See, and that's why we love our listeners and our chat people on YouTube here. These aren't guys that are just coming here and absorbing what we say and all the info and stats and data we have. They bring it with some of their own fire and some of their own great numbers and trends and angles. And that's the kind of stuff we love seeing from our very astute, very educated, very smart, savvy NHL bettors that are part of our YouTube chat every single day here for the Ice Guys show. All right, Vegas and Philadelphia. We've got Vegas minus 140, road favorites in this game, 6 the total, pretty much across the board. For Philadelphia, it's always a question of who's going to be in net for them. That's a question any day for a lot of teams, but especially for them. We've talked about how they're struggling to find consistency from the Russian and the Belarusian, Kolosov and Fedotov in net for the Philadelphia Flyers, with Ersson still out and on the injured reserve list still for a period of time. It will be Ivan Fedotov getting the nod here tonight for the Flyers. Last time we saw him, it was a 4-1 loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. I will say he faced 37 shots, and made 33 saves. I thought he played okay. It's just the roof kind of caved in on him from that point. We'll see if he can turn things around here tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights, who are coming off a smackdown over the Montreal Canadiens, 6-2 on Saturday night to win back-to-back on this road trip, bouncing back from losing the first game against Toronto and then getting 3-2 and 6-2 wins in the next 2 against Ottawa and Montreal. Philly off the come from behind victory against Chicago Saturday afternoon by a score of 3-2 in overtime. See if they can keep that going here. The concern, I guess, I would have with Philly is, well, they did get a win against Tampa on the road in a shootout, and that was a Fedotov start as well. But A lot of the other wins have been sisters of the poor wins: San Jose, Ottawa, Chicago. The recent victories that the Flyers have got. Are they capable of stepping up here against the Vegas Golden Knights? That remains to be seen. Philly did beat them last year, believe it or not, here in Philadelphia. 4-3 was the final in overtime. Previous to that, Vegas won 3 in a row. I'm off this game. It's a big card. Not really a lot I love here. And even with this total of 6, I'm not rushing to bet the over, even though that's usually been the move for me when Fedotov's been in net, because I will acknowledge he's been a little bit better in recent starts, not to mention the Flyers, 3 straight unders coming into this game. They're trying to play tight. They're trying to play a defensive style to aid these goalies and give them a puncher's chance for success. And for that reason, just all around, I'm probably going to be off the game. You could maybe talk me into maybe a couple bucks on the draw in this game, but that's about it, considering the game went to OT last year in Philly between the Golden Knights and the Flyers. Alex, what do you think here? Vegas, Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm looking for live overs. I like first period and full game overs, but I want to just get better prices and numbers in game. So I will have some small shots on those, maybe even like the sprinkle on the draw as well. But yeah, not the best game on the board tonight on a busy for Monday.
Vegas wraps up their road trip, by the way, Wednesday night, right before Thanksgiving, and then they go home, obviously, like everyone does for Thanksgiving. Then they start Friday. But they are at Colorado Wednesday night. That is a huge game. That makes this spot, just for me at least, a little dubious here for the Golden Knights. This is one of those spots where if you don't bring it, and that could be trouble here for Vegas. And Vegas still on the road too. Let's keep in mind, still a 5-6 below 500 road record on the season.
I trust Vegas to lay an egg here rather than the spot against Colorado.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that game probably jazzes them up a little bit more than this one does, no question. All right, Nashville and New Jersey. We've got the Devils minus 140, home favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the under. Nashville, we're at that time now where December's going to be here this weekend. You're 7-14. You're off a solid win against one of the best teams going in the NHL, 4-1. And I'm not going to be one of those guys that piles on the quality of that Nashville win and says, well, you faced Eric Comrie. Okay, that's obviously not the same as Connor Hellebuck, but you got a good win against a really good hockey team that hasn't lost many games this year. So I'm willing to give you credit for that. But my goodness, for the love of God, can you step up and win 2 in a row, for crying out loud? When the hell's the last time Nashville's put 2 wins in a row together? You're never going to get yourselves back into the position you expected to be this season if you can't win 2 games in a row. And that's something they have not done, this team, since late October, when they beat Boston, Chicago, and Columbus. 3 straight games. Well, look at those 3 wins. Boston stunk early in the year. They already let go their head coach because of it. And by the way, we'll save the Montgomery news to St. Louis when we get to that game, obviously, tonight. Yeah. We haven't even mentioned that yet. Just the shortest time without employment probably in NHL history.
Second shortest turnaround.
Yeah, second shortest. But yeah, incredible stuff there. But Boston, Chicago, and Columbus are the teams they beat 3 in a row. The only other time they've put multiple wins together this year. And those are all terrible hockey teams for the most part. They're some of the worst teams going. They beat Colorado 5-2. They get shut out by LA the next game. Then they beat Utah 4-0. They lose to Colorado the next game. They beat Vancouver on the road 5-3. They get shut out by Seattle the game after that. There's been no evidence of this Nashville team putting it together, 2 straight wins, but I feel I want to back them, believe it or not, here tonight, because New Jersey at home is weaker than New Jersey on the road. New Jersey a 500 home team, 5-5. They're 9-4 on the road. They're off back-to-back satisfying victories against Carolina and Washington. This is a spot where I could see them dropping it now back home. And remember, this team lost at San Jose, 1-0 on home ice recently as well. So I kind of feel like, I want to take Nashville here, but the not being able to put 2 W's on the board together in a row since October kind of bothers me, kind of worries me. But I feel at this price, it's Nashville or pass for me. Alex, what do you think here? Predators, Devils.
Give me the draw plus 340. We've seen heavy history with overtimes, including the last meeting between these two went to a shootout. Like I said, it's a game that Nashville needs, but this is also, like I said, a spot where New Jersey needs to play better at home. So I think those two trends kind of clash into each other. Plus 340 with a draw in my only play.
Yeah. I've got Nashville still searched. Check the Patreon page later when I have everything confirmed. I'm still mulling over this. I want to see who's in net as well. for this game tonight. So again, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Sign up if you haven't already. All the plays will be there from all the Alex and me, as they always are each and every day later, and we'll have some confirmation whether we'll be involved here in this one. All right, this is actually a really, really good card as far as quality matchups. Unlike the NFL, where it seemed like yesterday it was one good team versus one bad team. You've got multiple pretty good teams playing each other tonight. Colorado, Tampa, Washington, Florida. I was going to say Nashville's supposed to be good. But we think they're better than their record, or at least we'll see. We'll give them a chance to prove that. But New Jersey's good. And this next game, man, Dallas and Carolina doesn't get much better than that either. We've got Carolina -130, home favorites, 6.5 being the total in this game. Carolina off their first, now, should have known when we're talking about the three teams on Saturday that hadn't lost 2 in a row all year. I think Carolina was one, Rangers were another, and there's a third team in there that hadn't lost 2 in a row this year. That also lost. I can't remember, but anyway, all the teams that hadn't lost 2 in a row, well, they finally lost 2 in a row on Saturday, and one of them was Carolina with the loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets in that one, and it was a wild up and down affair. Not one of the better games defensively from the Carolina Hurricanes, not one of Kochekov's better games. And certainly they were able to score on Columbus and Merzlikins, but they end up losing 5-4. And more importantly, they lose Pyotr Kochekov as well, gets hurt in overtime, just got clipped. And it looked like in the head area. And now when you see that, and he had to leave the game right away, you're worried symptoms of concussions and head injury. And now you know what those can be like. They can turn from days into weeks and even into months. And you're already a team that's got Freddie Anderson, old man Freddie, on the IR like he always is. That guy lives. That guy's bought real estate on the fucking long-term injured reserve list at this point in time, Freddie Anderson. And now you've got Pyotr Kochekov now on that IR as well. And so you're down to basically Spencer Martin, and you're scrambling now suddenly if trying to find some stability now in net, because you've also got the only thing you've got behind Spencer Martin now is Yannick Peretz, the Latvian kid. So you all of a sudden have to find some you're going to have to move quick here, because you're not going to be able to keep going long-term with a Spencer Martin and Peretz duo in net. You're going to have to find some reinforcements if we find out that Kochekov could be missing significant time. We know Anderson's not back anytime soon. And it looks like the latest about Kochekov's injury is concussion protocol, out indefinitely. And as soon as you see that dreaded phrase, concussion protocol, it really gets concerning. There's no doubt. So we should see Spencer Martin here in net tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. It is someone that was able to get a shutout against the Ottawa Senators, but Ottawa's offense has been challenged lately. I don't know if you want to put too much stock into that. He was able to, obviously, he gave up 4 goals in a loss to the New Jersey Devils in the next game for Carolina, so keep that in mind. So you're talking about a guy that's, we expected him after shutting out Ottawa to maybe have some struggles in that next start against New Jersey, and he did. And he gave up 4 in that game. So that's what you get, from a journeyman goaltender in most situations. And Spencer Martin is the same. You're going to get 1 game up, 1 game down kind of deal. I do expect Carolina to bring a strong effort, though. 2 losses in a row, a team that's going to get their attention. The Dallas Stars, who had obviously a very nice win against Tampa. They've now won 5 of their last 6 games. Now, up until that Tampa win, the Minnesota win was a good win. There are a couple of weaker teams that they beat up on, San Jose, Boston, when they were struggling before Monty got the axe, Pittsburgh. But no, this has been a great stretch. And more importantly, Dallas found some offense again, which is great to see. 4 goals or more from the Dallas Stars in 4 of their last 6 games. 2 bets for me here in this game. Full game over 6.5, because we're going to get Spencer Martin. Dallas's offense is picking up. They're a bet on offense right now. That's for sure. Especially now, Rope, Hintz, and Robertson line starting to get going. We know what Duchesne, Seguin, and Marchman have done for that group. I think they'll score on Carolina. But give me Carolina team total over 3.5. I'm right back to it, Alex. Carolina team total over 3.5. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's now 13 of the last 15 games. Carolina has scored at least 4 goals, and I know Dallas can be a tough nut to crack defensively sometimes, and when Ottinger's on his game. But back home, 2 losses in a row. They've got goaltending concerns, but that doesn't concern the offense right now. Certainly, they've been able to score goals. Ottinger's in good form, and like I said, that's going to be a challenge. Carolina's been pretty damn consistent getting 4. I think they can do that here tonight. So it's a full game over and a team total over with Carolina. A bit of an odd, unique approach for me in this game. Alex, what do you think here? Dallas, Carolina.
Dallas, run, don't walk. Grab Dallas at a plus price before that turns to -105, -110. I got +106 at FanDuel with Ottinger going up against Spencer Martin. Like I said, Carolina, I mean, they got all kind of injuries. And now you're looking, like I said, Martin and Perez. That's all you have at goal. Carolina's going to have to make a phone call. Maybe they call somebody in Switzerland, an Antti Raanta, who's actually playing well over in the Swiss league.
Oh, my God. They just might, because they've always called back that guy somehow, even after.
What's David Ayres doing in Toronto? I mean, you're running out of options here. So they're gonna have to do something. But I think they're in trouble tonight. So give me Dallas plus money on the money line. That's the only thing I roll with. And that Carolina team total, be careful with that moving forward. Even if they hit that tonight, because here's the thing: if they're running with these 2 goalies, okay, they start giving up goals. Now they're going to start being more defensive, working more on that back end where we talk about all the time.
And try to win 2-1, 3-1 hockey. Exactly.
Yeah,
There's that concern.
So be careful moving forward with this now with these injuries.
It's one of these deals where I'll bet it tonight. If it loses, maybe I'll give it one more shot. And if it loses again, if it loses twice in a row, we're on.
I mean, it wasn't situational, right? Like if you go up, if Carolina's playing the Rangers next game and it's Shesterkin, you're probably not going to be on over 3.5. But but Carolina draw. Who's Carolina actually have next game?
Carolina, after tonight, they have the New York Rangers. Big game. Wednesday night.
See, so home. Don't stay away from the other over 3.5 maybe in the next game.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, though, 13 of, and I've been on a lot of these, as you know. We've talked about this little emerging trend and angle with Carolina just going over this 3.5. 13 of the last 15, they have scored at least. That's pretty impressive. You know how hard it is to consistently score 4? Consistently like that. We haven't seen a run like that in quite some time. 13 of 15 games with at least 4 goals. That'll be put to the test, though, because I will say this. Dallas, we know, can be good defensively, and Ottinger's actually played some, but Ottinger has played some weaker teams in this great run, too. Let's be honest. And I like Jake. We all do, but he's also faced some weaker teams. We'll see if he can keep Carolina off the board here tonight. All right. Did you miss Jim Montgomery? I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen that guy. I mean, my goodness, what's he been doing all this time? All those massive 6 days that he was out of coaching. But here he is back behind the bench in 6 days after being fired by the Boston Bruins with the St. Louis Blues as they take on the New York Rangers. We've got the Rangers -220, road favorites, 6 being the total here in this game. Look, I credit Doug Armstrong for being bold and not being apologetic over making this move. He felt that, obviously, look, the team has not been playing great, but it sounded like, and I think this is 100% accurate, if Jim Montgomery wasn't available, he would have stuck it out a little bit longer with Drew Bannister. At least would have definitely kept him on board for at least another few weeks. And try to ride through this little tumultuous run the Blues have had. But the moment Jim Montgomery was available, and knowing that he was an assistant there with when Craig Berube was the head coach of the Blues, and they loved the work he did. Apparently the players really liked Monty being on that assistant coaching staff. It just became right away that, sorry, Drew, but I've got to make this move. Jim Montgomery is there. I got to get him to be my head coach. And it's really that simple.
Yeah, he would have been the guy if Montgomery hadn't moved on. If he had stayed with that staff when Berube was fired, he would have gotten that job. That's basically what yesterday said. And not only do you go and bring him back, but you sign him for 5 years. So that says to me that not only everybody loved him. The players were vibing with him. Everything was well with front office enough to where we can have him be the cornerstone to build whatever we're going to do, because St. Louis is in this weird, it's not a rebuild from scratch. They're obviously not top contenders, but wherever they are, they trust in Jim Montgomery enough to lead them the next 5 seasons in whichever direction they go. So that's a lot of confidence, and let's see if there's a bump from that.
I think there will be a bump. Let's put it this way. Rangers not liking what I saw the last 2 games on this road trip. How you start that poorly in the first period of both games, it's mind-boggling to me. I mean, I thought for sure, and that's why I like the Rangers against Edmonton on Saturday. I thought, after the Calgary game, they got dominated in the first period. 20-5 Calgary were the shots on goal in the first period. They were in their own zone the whole period. It would have been a lot worse early on if not for Igor Shesterkin. What else is new? We're starting to see that again with the Rangers, him bailing them out too often. And sure enough, eventually the Rangers got their game going. Second period was better, even though Calgary still had a slight edge. And the bottom line is you just can't start that poorly and make up for it. And the Edmonton game might have been an even worse start, even though the shots weren't nearly as bad. But 21-9, they were giving up grade A chances all over the place. Jonathan Quick had to be spectacular, believe it or not, in the first 15 minutes just to keep that at 2-0 going into the first. Could have been 5-0 for Edmonton after the first period the other night of that game against the New York Rangers. Now, John Massey's the Ranger fan, as we know, and we love him, but he's been talking about this spot. Going back to, I think he mentioned this spot on the New York Rangers season preview video that we did with him way back in September, talking about this spot where the schedule makers really screwed the Rangers over. Four games in a row. Yeah, he did. I remember him mentioning it. The 4 games at Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton, back home for one measly game here in this spot against St. Louis, and back on the road for Carolina and Philly over the Thanksgiving holiday on Wednesday and Friday. Brutal scheduling being done here to the New York Rangers. You know where I'm going. We like Montgomery. We thought he was made a scapegoat in Boston. They blamed him when there's more issues with that hockey team. Now, I will say this. They're 2-0 under Joe Sacco, Boston. But it also speaks to here we go again with the new coach angle. And the first game, and maybe even more than the first game, can provide a bump. So this is St. Louis first period. This is St. Louis money line full game for me. Not only is it a brutal scheduling spot for the Rangers, but I think the Blues do get that bump from a very quality head coach being back behind their bench because of the fact that obviously he was the assistant there a few years ago. Blues first period, Blues full game, money line for me, double up. Alex, what do you think here? Blues, Rangers.
So I grabbed Blues plus 200 yesterday just off of the coaching bump. I thought that price was crazy. It's now settled into where the price I think maybe should be, 170, 180. And even then, like you said, that's just an awfully high number on how the Rangers have looked right now. So I'm still looking at St. Louis. I would endorse all the way down to plus 160. I think this is a good spot. Like you said, that was a spot that Massey did. Yeah, he mentioned that on the preview and circled that. And this is a spot where we often see the Rangers, even if they were in good form, would have trouble with a game like this. So now, struggling out of the last 5 of the last 6 periods,
now
and trade room is rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a huge St. Louis spot. Yeah, give me Blues. Just Blues. I'm not going first period. I'm just going to go on full game money line.
The only thing that would have made this better is if the Rangers won the last 2 games as opposed to losing them. This would have made this an even sweeter.
Or even just the last one.
From the Blues.
Yeah.
No doubt. We'll see about it. But like I said, the Rangers off the 2 losses, the only mild concern, but they're certainly not playing capable of a minus 220 favorite right now. What I've seen, the way they've started the last couple of games, and they're only a mediocre. What is their record at home? They've been better on the road, 5-4. They are at home at Madison Square Garden. So nothing to write home about there. So yeah, Alex and I both liking St. Louis there in that one. All right, next up we've got Calgary and Ottawa. It is an all-Canadian matchup here. Ottawa minus 160, home favorites. Total sitting at 6 shaded to the under. How many times do we have to see Ottawa out there at minus 160? They're not any good right now. They aren't. They just let Vancouver waltz in there and go up 4-1. I think Vancouver, kind of tipped their foot off the gas pedal in that game, but they hung on for the 4-3 win. I'm so mad. I almost made Vancouver the best bet on Saturday. I wish I had, but I really like that spot. Vancouver's going to be a team I'm riding on this road trip that they're on right now. We mentioned it. What's amazing about Vancouver, no Besser, no Miller. Quinn Hughes got the fucking ridiculous, absurd 5-game misconduct in that game, and they still ended up beating Ottawa. What does that say about the Ottawa Senators right now? Not a lot. This is just an overpriced, struggling favorite. Win or lose, can't pass up Calgary plus 140 here in this game. Not at all. Now they're coming off a great homestand, starting the road trip, maybe a little, a little overconfident maybe, but no, I like the way they're playing. They're playing great defensively. They've won 4 in a row. Like I say, Ottawa's struggling mightily right now. This is just a numbers play. I cannot pass up taking Calgary plus 140 with the way Ottawa is struggling right now, struggling to score, struggling on the power play, struggling defensively again. struggling. Even Linus Allmark has been nothing to write home about. He's actually been fighting the puck lately. He hasn't had a good start since probably the Toronto game. The whole team hasn't had a good game since the Toronto game. That being said, it will be Forsberg tonight. And yeah, it's been a little bit better lately, but he's still up and down way too much for my liking. And we've got our boy, hungry like the wolf, Dustin Wolf on the other side. So yeah, Calgary plus 140. Pretty easy decision for me to bet this side. What do you think here, Alex? Calgary, Ottawa.
The wrong team's favored. Give me Calgary plus 140. That's literally how I feel. You got Dustin Wolf going up against Anton Forsberg. You got this Flames team that's in good momentum against an Ottawa team that, once again, trade rumors, struggling defensively, just the same old shit in Ottawa. Yeah, give me Calgary plus 140. That's as easy as a bet as I can make. Made that earlier this morning.
Yeah, no, it's one of these cards, guys. There's a couple dogs that are interesting here, in my opinion, on this slate. It's just the way it worked out, and this is just. I get it. The do factor. They're not going to go for the rest of the season. Ottawa. I get it. Maybe they do win tonight, but you're paying minus 160 with this team playing the way they are right now. No, thank you. I could understand the case to take Ottawa if they're like minus 120 or minus 130, closer to even money. They're still being priced like they are so much better than they actually are. And Calgary's being priced like they're so much worse than they actually are. And this kid in net's giving them a chance to win every night, Dustin Wolf. All right, next up, we've got Detroit and the New York Islanders. Islanders minus 150, home favorites in this game. The total currently sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over. This is a rapid revenge spot, short turnaround spot, if you will, because these teams played in Detroit last week. And this is where we cashed in with Detroit with the off the San Jose loss angle, which is now 5-1 on the season. Detroit had lost to San Jose at the end of that road trip. They return home, and they literally steal one from the New York Islanders. They were down 1-0. They tied it in the third, and then they won it with a goal in the last minute, a 2-1 victory for the Detroit Red Wings in that game. I certainly could only look at Detroit plus the number here. I mean, the Islanders are still not a team I'm looking to lay a price with. Okay, they beat St. Louis on Saturday, 3-1, which was the final game of the Drew Bannister era. It's what led to the coaching change taking place. But like I said, the Islanders are not a lay minus 150 with type of team right now, even though they did cash in this price range against the Blues. See if they can carry that over here against the Red Wings, but not at this price. This is probably going to be a Detroit bet for me. Small Detroit bet. There's some other sides I like more than this, but certainly I could only lean Detroit here. And they've actually dominated the Islanders to the tune of 4-1 in the last 5 head-to-head meetings. So it is revenge for the Islanders, but you're paying a premium, I think, to back a pretty ordinary Islanders team right now. Not that Detroit's been great either, but I'd rather take the plus 130 than lay the minus 150 in a game of this kind of variance to it. So Detroit plus 130, and I will sprinkle on the draw as well. Keep in mind, that game was a minute away from going to overtime last week at the Pizza Box between these two teams. It's that close to overtime. It didn't get there that time, but I think there's a possibility we get it here tonight, overtime or a shootout. So the draw with the Islanders, yet again, I think worth a look. Alex, Red Wings, Islanders.
99 out of 100 times that last game goes past regulation. So I'm running it right back with the draw. I got plus 350 at FanDuel.
Straightforward. Yep. Nothing more to add. The Islanders, it almost went to OT. We don't think either team is good enough to gain separation from the other in this kind of a matchup. So, yeah, Detroit, and I like the draw. Alex, just the draw for him in this one. All right. Winnipeg Jets, Minnesota Wild. We've got Winnipeg minus 115 road favorites. The total sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over in this game. Got both of these teams, Winnipeg, I should say, coming off a 4-1 loss to the Nashville Predators in their last game. That was, again, an Eric Comrie start. Important to keep that in mind. Minnesota off a 4-3 shootout loss to the Calgary Flames on Saturday afternoon in that one. So we'll see if both teams obviously looking to bounce back and looking to have a better performance here tonight in this one. This has been a lopsided recent series history, 6 straight victories for the Winnipeg Jets over the Minnesota Wild, including 3 in a row here at XL Energy Center. So they've kind of made Minnesota their second home. And keep in mind, this is a very short travel for Winnipeg to Minnesota when you look at it. Minnie coming off, obviously, the 3-game road trip with the Blues, the Oilers, and the Flames. Back home, not the greatest spot. It is 3rd game in 4 nights for the Winnipeg Jets, but they stayed in the same time zone as their previous game, going from Nashville to Winnipeg. Both of those, obviously, the central, or going from, Nashville to Minnesota, rather. Both of them being in the central time zone for Winnipeg. So it's not the time zone change angle for that 3 and 4 nights. So it doesn't apply to that angle I'm starting to monitor moving forward. This is one where it's tricky for me. Put it this way, I'm not going against Winnipeg off a loss for a team that is 17 and 4 on the season. So obviously losing 2 in a row has not happened very often to the Winnipeg Jets. It only happened the one time, and that was the losses to Tampa and Florida back-to-back on that recent road trip. So I don't want to go against the Jets off a loss, but I don't know if I'm rushing to bet against Minnesota off a loss either. I like the way they're going. I like what I'm seeing from them defensively, even with the loss to Calgary. That was not one of their better defensive efforts, but prior to that, they were playing pretty solid defensive hockey, giving them chances to win. No question about that. So kind of could go either way. Maybe I get involved with a draw. I could see that maybe beyond 60 minutes, but I'm staying off a side here. Hellebuck and Gustafsson, same thing with the total. This could be an under. This could be an over. Both teams can score. Both teams can defend, and we've got goalies that have had great seasons so far, Hellebuck and Gustafsson. So I'd actually lean under a little bit, and I'm not alone because this total has gone from 6 down to 5.5. So we have seen a move in this number. Alex, what do you think here? Jets, Wild.
Yeah, I'm on the draw here. Plus 330. It's obviously not the biggest price on the board. Everybody's kind of anticipating a low and slow game with that 5.5 total, but I think 330 is a worthy price. Maybe even take a shot here with a 2-2 correct score, plus 1200. So these are small sprinkles with both the draw and the correct score here, but I will have those in pocket.
All right, good stuff there. And yes, like I said, we do, as far for Minnesota, there are, again, we'll have to monitor Kaprizov's status because there are obviously more. But here's the thing, too, about this, and certainly Ken Wiebe, who does a great job covering the Jets. He's covered that team for years. He does that Wiebe's World segment on their television. He used to, actually, but I don't know if they still do that on the Jets broadcast. But he's talked about the Dylan Samberg. Now, the betting markets are going to yawn over that. One of the depth defensemen on the Jets getting injured and out long-term with the foot injury that he suffered on the weekend. Well, Ken Wiebe said this is one of their more important shutdown players on that blue line. So let's see this Winnipeg team now moving forward. I've got this circled. What's this team going to look like? How are they going to perform defensively without Samberg? Now, I know they've still got, obviously, Josh Morrissey, and the blue line can be fairly capable. Neil Pionk and company, I get that. But Samberg's one of the better stay-at-home, shut it down, play good in his own end type of defenseman. He's really been solid at that end. And you're going to have to ask more now from Hayden Fleury. You're going to have to ask more from Ville Heinola and Colin Miller in these spots. They're going to have to get more ice time. Dylan DeMello is going to get more ice time now because he's going to have to move up and play with Josh Morrissey. So, like I say, we're talking about taking one of the better defensive defensemen out of this lineup now with the injury to Samberg. Let's see how Winnipeg plays without him. It's definitely something I'm going to be monitoring because if I see, tonight, for example, this first game without him and they're giving up 4 or 5 goals and they're giving up grade A's all over the ice, maybe this turns into an over team without Samberg. Or if they maybe tighten it up and the other guys show signs of stepping up without Samberg, then maybe their defensive game as a team is still in at least okay shape with Dylan Samberg out. So it's definitely something I'm going to monitor. And again, as far as Kaprizov is concerned, we're going to know probably close to game time. Pre-game skate is when we're going to find out if he plays. Game time decision is the update on him with that lower body injury. All right, we got 2 games left, keeping a brisk pace because unfortunately we're short on time for these Monday shows, but we've got Seattle and Anaheim. Seattle minus 145, minus 150. Road favorites. The total in this one sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over here in this game. All of a sudden, we talk about coaches being fired, and certainly there's a bunch of them on the hot seat right now as well. And Greg Cronin his is starting to heat up a little bit from what I'm reading, that there's some dysfunctionality a little bit, the not breakdown in communication, but, as the message from Greg Cronin, who's one of those old school, crack the whip, pretty hard and tough on the players type of mentality, is it wearing out this young team a little bit? There is some concerns about that. They did have a solid 3-game win streak going, but got snapped by Buffalo on Friday, losing 3-2 in overtime to the Sabres. Meanwhile, Seattle 2-1 loss to Los Angeles. in their last game. So we'll see how this game plays out here between the Kraken and the Ducks. Kraken are just not a team I'm totally comfortable in the minus 150 type of price range going into this game. But I do think this is a spot where they should step up and take care of business, Seattle. Their road record's been less than inspiring, but Anaheim's been less than inspiring at home as well. So it's a kind of, you saw it off there. Seattle 3-6 on the road versus Anaheim 4-6 at home. So not exactly what you want to see as far as consistency from either of these teams. Seattle on the road, Anaheim at home coming into this game. I am going to ride what's been all of a sudden, a very emerging 8-1 run to the first period over for the Anaheim Ducks coming into this game tonight. That's right. 8 of the last 9 Anaheim games have gone over in the first period. I mean, we talk about this with Seattle. Again, there's shots, there's certainly opportunities, and there's not enough finish. And, we're starting to wonder, are the players on this team capable of being a good offensive team? Because the system's in place, the pace is in place to be a better offensive team, and we just don't see it consistently enough one game to the next from Seattle. But I'm going to buy into the 8 of the last 9 in the first period over for the Anaheim Ducks, and probably just the first period over, because Anaheim's gone under in 3 straight. It's been an under series history between these teams. So I will take the first period over, but that's all. Just riding that 8-1 run in the last 9 games to the first period over for Anaheim. Alex, what do you think here? Kraken Ducks.
Plus 120 would be my buy sign live for that first period over. So I'm just going to be watching that one and waiting for 120 to come around and hit that.
No doubt. So again, that's I think it's a good spot because both teams are off losses and low scoring losses. Anaheim only scored 2. Seattle only scored the 1 against LA. It's a nice spot situationally to expect, a couple of goals in the opening period. So hopefully we will see that tonight from the Kraken and the Ducks. All right, final game. LA or West Coast battle, California clash here. The LA Kings taking on the San Jose Sharks. LA minus 250 road favorites, and the total sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over, minus 115. How about those Buffalo Sabres on Saturday night on Joe Thornton's big night? Jumbo Joe spoiling the party for the Sharks and their faithful. And it looked like San Jose was leading most of that game, obviously on Saturday night. And then here's Buffalo, who just had a terrific, swing in California, sweeping all 3 games against LA, Anaheim, and San Jose. Here come the Buffalo Sabres, just ripping it up in the third period with the 3 unanswered goals. Dylan Cousins, Alex Tuch, shorthanded, was just a backbreaker to give that up for San Jose. That ended up being the game-winning goal. And then Rasmus Dahlin put it away into the empty net. A big 4-2 comeback win for the Sabres and a very tough third period, resulting in a 4-2 loss for the San Jose Sharks at home on Jumbo Joe's big night. That's now 3 losses in a row for the Sharks, 1-6 in their last 7 games. So all of a sudden, not exactly trending in the best form. LA beat Seattle 2-1 in their last game. Keep in mind, these teams have played each other twice already. This will be the 3rd meeting this season. LA won in LA, San Jose won here at the Shark Tank. So I'm tempted by San Jose. I'll admit David Riddick is expected to be in net for the Kings. Mackenzie Blackwood expected for San Jose. Neither one is confirmed as of yet. I will point out, though, with Riddick, for as much as we've criticized him, last 3 starts he's given up just 1 goal in each game for the LA Kings. So he's actually played solid. The Seattle game, he gets the win. The Detroit game, he gets the win. The Buffalo game is the one he lost, but he only gave up 1 goal. He played solid, so he's actually had 3 pretty good starts in a row. See how this one goes. Total is just, it's hard to fathom how this game's going to go from a total standpoint. I kind of think of San Jose with Celebrini back in the fold as an over team. I definitely do not think that right now about the Los Angeles Kings. They are an under team, so I'm kind of torn when it comes to this total. I'm tempted just a couple bucks here on San Jose at plus 210, the way they lost that game. Oh, you could also look at it as well. They lost that game in that kind of fashion, a hangover, and maybe they're not ready to respond and bounce back tonight. But at this price, I'm always going to stick to my guns here and say that LA is a minus 250 road favorite. To me, that's a little overpriced, even against a team like the San Jose Sharks. So lean Sharks, maybe a couple bucks. That's about it. Nothing super strong. Alex, what do you think here? Final game, Kings, Sharks.
Complete pass for me. I got enough stuff going on big Monday night.
There you go. Short and sweet and to the point. Great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We appreciate it. Hit the like button on the way out. Again, that is rapid fire, baby, right there. I don't know if we've ever gone through an 11-game NHL card faster than that, but because of the time crunch that we have on Mondays, that's the way it had to be. We appreciate you guys joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. And a reminder, if you haven't already, sign up, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Again, goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, live betcasts exclusive to Patreon members coming up in the new year. As well, the daily betting card each and every day, sides, totals, player props posted on the Patreon page. Again, patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 per month. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show. So check it out. Sign up now, just $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. You're muted.
Because of the Manscaped Monday, we have no Boston Hemp ad. So check out all the products at bostonhempinc.com. Save 20% off using promo code Ice Guys, and also sign up for the high holiday giveaways. The sign up form is available pinned on our page at X at @the_Ice Guys. Also available to the public at the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ice Guys. Look for that pinned post on the top of the page for the high holiday giveaway and find that sign up form. Sign up today. The contest will close December 16th when we announce the winners.
No doubt. Now, this is a good time because you know what? Because we didn't have a recap, it threw me off, and that's usually when we play the Manscaped Monday ad. So we're going to do that now, and obviously we're going to play the Solid Fire Boston Hemp Inc. ad, as we like to do on Mondays, and, of course, the regular. So this is going to be a long break, folks. That's what I'm talking about. We'll see you in like 5 minutes because that's pretty much what it's going to be. We've got certainly a lot of ads coming up, but make sure you don't go anywhere. Bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Manscaped, Power Play Sportsman, Raise Your Game, Tailgater Social. And a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. What if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using promo code ICEGUYS for 20% off and free shipping. What makes this Chairman Pro stand out? Versatility, precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable blade heads. You have the skin-safe foil, 4-blade foil for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean. And if a clean shave isn't your style, that's okay. Switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer to keep your stubble looking sharp and polished. Both heads are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation. The last thing you need is to get nicks and cuts and all that shit to really irritate your skin. This will leave your skin feeling smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. And a standout feature that truly differentiates the Chairman Pro is the Flex Adjust technology to give you that superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face, and is gentle on the neck area to help you maintain great contact with your skin at every angle. If you want even more precision, there's a precision lock. When you lock it, the blade head sits firm so you can achieve a more precise shave. The Chairman is Pro is waterproof as well. You can use it in the shower. And the waterproof feature doesn't just make shaving easier, it also simplifies cleanup too. Just a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. The Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth. making it perfect, whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. And up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you can take your time getting the perfect shave. It even has a travel lock to help make sure it doesn't accidentally turn on when you've got it in your bag when you're on the go. Get the Chairman Pro today. It is worth it, and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code IceGuys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code IceGuys at manscaped.com. All right, shout out to all our great sponsors, including, of course, Boston Hemp Inc. Get 20% off using the promo code IceGuys at bostonhempinc.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Monday. Huge card, 11 games. Alex, what do you like in the bargain bin?
Well, we like Dallas to get some goals against Spencer Barton and that beat up Carolina club. And one of the guys that we haven't gone to this year, an old friend from last year in the bargain bin, Miro Heiskanen. Plus 650 available for him anytime goal at FanDuel. It's going to be my shot for Monday. Miro Heiskanen get a goal here. Plus 650 on the bargain bin for Monday.
All right, there we go. A little Miro Heiskanen here for the Dallas Stars to get on the board for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. My bargain bin special of the night, there's certainly a lot to choose from. He's red hot right now for the Carolina Hurricanes, and he does just barely meet that plus 300 threshold to be bargain bin worthy. The red hot, and I mean red hot, this guy can't stop scoring right now. Jack Roslovic for the Carolina Hurricanes. He has got it rolling right now. So from the same game, I'm going with Jack Roslovic plus 300 for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight as they look to bounce back from back-to-back losses. A team that's consistently, as I've said, 4 goals in 13 of their last 15 games, at least 4 goals. Jack Roslovic's had a huge hand in a lot of the offense lately for the Hurricanes. So Jack Roslovic plus 300 for my bargain bin special of the night. Best bets for this Monday slate. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
I got 2 of them. First off, we're going to go with the Caps and Panthers first period over 1.5 minus 128. Shout out to Terry Ray Vegas for that great angle. 11-0 for the first period over when the Capitals are off of a loss. That is very strong. Also 10-1 the last 11 overall. So that's play number 1. Best bet number 2, Calgary Flames plus 140. That's ridiculous, disrespectful. Dustin Wolf and this team have been red hot. Now going on the road against playing an awful Ottawa team. I should not be laying 160. Give me Calgary plus 140 and Capitals and Florida first period over 1.5 minus 128. Those are my 2 Monday best bets.
There you go. 2 Monday best bets here. Washington, Florida, first period over. Calgary plus 140 against Ottawa. 2 best bets on this Monday for Alex B. Smith. That Calgary-Ottawa game, by the way, forgot to mention this in my Monday John Forsland voice. It's on Monday. It's only on Prime. There you go. It's the prime game. Flames and Senators for those in Canada. All right. Best bet for me on this Monday. Go big or go home. That's what we're doing here tonight. Monty gets a win in his debut with the St. Louis Blues. We're going to go St. Louis plus 180, plus 185 in some spots, even touching plus 190 in others. The big dog gets new life with Jim Montgomery behind the bench. If the Bruins can go 2-0 in the first 2 games with Sacco behind the bench, we like St. Louis to get it done in New York. The Rangers have issues, and now there's trade rumors swirling with Trouba, Kreider, and others. Not ideal for a team coming back off the road for this one game and then going on the road again. St. Louis, upwards of plus 190 against the New York Rangers for my best bet here for this Monday NHL card. So we both have a dog on our card for best bet.
I love it.
So there we go.
This is a card. No, we got a few minutes left. This is a card where I believe, this is a capper's card. There's not a lot of angles and trends that are folding and falling in the position. This is where we just trust our numbers and look at some spots and hope to hit them tonight. So I hope we do big.
Yeah, we trust what we're seeing, certainly in some of these games, that there's just some teams being mispriced right now in the betting markets. Good stuff, everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us, and great insight today. Shout out to all of you. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we'll be back with you tomorrow on Tuesday for a very short, brief Tuesday card right here on the Ice Guys.